Unit 3, Survival English. Exercise 1, Health Problems. Listen to the conversation and fill in the missing information in the notes below. Hi, Ellen. What's the matter with you?
I think I've got a terrible cold. My nose is stuffed up, and I've got a sore throat.
Oh, that's too bad. You should be at home in bed. It's really important to get a good rest.
Yeah, you're right.
And have you taken anything for it?
No, I haven't.
Well, you should take some vitamin C, and it's also a good idea to drink lots of liquids.
That's a good suggestion. I've a bottle of vitamin C at home.
Have you seen a doctor?
Not yet.
Well, you'd better see a doctor first, and then go back home to rest.
Yeah, I'll do it right now.
Ellen, it's also helpful to cook chicken soup with some garlic in it, and drink a cup every half an hour. It really works.
Oh, chicken stock for a cold? Okay, I'll try it. Thanks.
I hope you recover soon. Exercise 2. In a camera shop. Listen to the conversation and fill in the missing information in the notes below. Good morning. Can I help you?
Yes, I want to buy a camera. What kind do you recommend?
Well, it all depends. We have many kinds of cameras here. How much money do you want to spend?
I want something cheap and easy to handle.
Are you an experienced photographer?
No, I've had no experience at all.
Here's a camera that would suit you very well. It's got a very good lens and it's all automatic, so it's very easy to use. Just press one button and it's done.
How much does it cost?
It's only £45.
Can I try?
Of course. Here you are.
Well, I think the price is reasonable and I like that. It is automatic, but I don't like the color. Do you have any other color?
Yes. How about this yellow one?
It looks better. Is it the same price?
Yes.
All right. I will take this yellow one. Here is £50.
Here is your change.
Exercise 3. In the restaurant. Listen to the conversation and tick the items that the wife and husband ordered on the menu.
Good evening. Would you like to order now?
Just a moment. Can we see what you've got on the menu first? There is quite a good choice on the menu, isn't there, dear?
Yes.
Do you want to order first?
All right. I think I'll start with some apple juice. But I can't decide whether to have salmon or roast beef. I remember I had fish last time we were here, so I'll try the roast beef. And yes, and some carrots.
What about the sweet?
Well, we can order that later. But I think I'll have some fruit salad.
Shall I order some wine to go with the meal?
Yes, that would be nice. So, what are you going to have?
I'll start with chicken soup. And I love fish, so I think I'll have salmon and some peas.
What are you going to choose for dessert?
I think I'll have chocolate cake.
Exercise 4. At the reception desk in a hotel. Listen to the conversation and fill in the missing information.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening. My name is Arthur Collins. I believe you have a room reserved for me.
Just a moment, Mr. Collins. Let me see. Collins. Yes. Mr. Collins, you booked a single room 3 days ago. Is that right?
Yes, that's right.
Mr. Collins, your room number is 405 on the 4th floor. Would you fill in this form, please?
Certainly.
How long do you intend to stay in the hotel, Mr. Collins?
Let me see. Today is Monday, and probably I'm going to leave on Friday morning.
On Friday morning, I see.
Oh, excuse me. Where shall I put my passport number?
Just at the bottom. That's right. Thank you.
Oh, would you please wake me up at 7:10 in the morning, please?
7:10, certainly. Porter, please take Mr. Collins' suitcase to his room. Mr. Collins, please follow him.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Exercise 5. Christmas Activities. Listen to the talk and complete the notes. Write no more than 3 words for each answer.
The Christmas season begins very early in Britain. By the end of October, you may see Christmas decorations in the streets and Christmas cards and gifts in the shops. Traditionally, people start to decorate their houses a week or two before the 25th of December, which is Christmas Day. There are a lot of traditions connected with Christmas. The most important one is the giving of presents. Family members wrap up their gifts and leave them at the bottom of the Christmas tree to be found on Christmas morning. Children leave a long sock or stocking at the end of their bed on Christmas Eve, the 24th of December, hoping that Father Christmas will come down the chimney during the night and bring them small presents, fruit, and nuts. They are not usually disappointed. Sometimes on Christmas Day, the family will sit down to a big turkey dinner and Christmas pudding. Later, in the afternoon, they may watch the Queen on television as she delivers her traditional Christmas message to the United Kingdom and the Commonwealth. If they have room for even more food, they may enjoy a piece of Christmas cake or eat a hot mince pie. The 26th of December is also a public holiday, Boxing Day, and this is the time to visit friends and relatives or watch football.
Exercise 6. Trip to Stonehenge. Listen to the conversation and fill in the missing information in the notes below. Hi, Sue. How was your weekend?
Oh, really good. I went to Stonehenge with my host family.
Stonehenge?
Yes, that's right. Have you ever been there?
Yes, I went there last month. I really enjoyed it.
Me too. Stonehenge is the best known and probably the most remarkable of prehistoric remains in the UK.
Yes, it has stood on Salisbury Plain for about 4,000 years. You know, there have been many different theories about its original use.
Yes, I know. My host father told me that one of the theories is that it was a place from where stars and planets could be observed.
Yes, but no one is really certain why it was built. One of the things people have discovered is the positions of some of the stones relate to the movements of the sun and moon, so that the stones could be used as a calendar.
That's interesting.
Did you go to Oxford too? It's not far from Stonehenge.
No, we didn't because of the time. My host family had to be back before 3 in the afternoon.
Oh, what a pity. You should go sometime. It's very interesting too.
Yes, I hope I can sometime.
Exercise 7. Marriage. Sue Me and Steve are talking about marriage in America and in Korea. Listen to the conversation and fill in the missing information in the notes below.
Hello, Steve. Have you read this article?
Not yet. What is in it?
There are some facts about families in the United States. It says that 50% of marriages end in divorce in the United States.
That's quite high, isn't it? Do many people get divorced in Korea?
No, most Korean couples stay together.
Families are sure different in America.
Well, there are more divorces, but what else is different?
Well, I think people get married younger.
How much younger?
Oh, I think some people get married before the age of 20.
Really? What else?
A lot of women work after they get married, and I think most women who have babies go back to work fairly soon, too.
Yes, according to the survey, 50% of American working women return to work within a year of having a baby.
Do women in Korea usually work after they get married?
No, a lot of women stay at home and take care of their families, but a few work.
I see. Here are some more figures. It says 67% of women with children work, and 57% of children under 6 have two parents who work or a single parent who works. Exercise 8. University Campus. Look at the map of the university campus. You will hear 5 sets of directions to a certain place. As you listen, follow the directions carefully. Then write the letters next to the names of the places below. Conversation 1. Susan is a new student. She goes to the university to register.
Excuse me, can you help me? I'm looking for the registration office.
Maybe I can. I think it's in the administration building. Are you a new student?
Yes, I am.
Well, look, here is the map of the campus. We're at the entrance now. The building we face is the Students' Union. The building on our left is the administration building.
Thank you.
With pleasure. Conversation 2. Susan comes out of the administration building and wants to buy some course books.
Excuse me, I'm a new student here. I'm looking for the bookstore. Do you know where it is?
The bookstore? Let me see. We are at the administration building. Do you see the gymnasium there? The one facing us on the left?
Yes. Is it the tall, white building over there?
Right. The bookstore is behind the gymnasium, between the cinema and the bank.
I see. Thank you very much.
You are welcome. Conversation 3. Susan comes out of the bookstore and she plans to go to the tennis club.
Excuse me, could you tell me where the tennis club is?
Tennis club? I think it is in the sports center. When you go to the sports center, you will find a swimming pool. The tennis club is opposite it and next to the playground. You can't miss it.
Thanks a lot.
Conversation 4. Excuse me, I'm looking for the computer center. Could you tell me where it is?
The computer center. Yes, it's next to the library, opposite the recreation center.
Next to the library, opposite the recreation center.
Yes, that's right.
Thank you very much. Conversation 5.
Excuse me, could you tell me where the cafeteria is?
Oh, cafeteria? I think there is one in the recreation center.
Recreation center?
Yes. When you come to the recreation center, you will see 3 buildings there. The middle one has a cafeteria. You can see a big signpost there. You can't miss it.
Thank you very much.
Exercise 9. Music in New Orleans. Listen to the conversation and fill in the missing information in the notes below.
Hi, Mike. Do you like jazz?
Yes, very much. And I like to dance to jazz too.
Do you know who first started to play jazz?
Yes, of course. The African Americans.
Do you know when and where?
Yes. Around 1900, people from many countries lived in New Orleans. Music was an important part of life in this city. Musicians in New Orleans started to play a new kind of music. It was called jazz. Jazz was a kind of music intended to make people happy.
I know jazz is kind of a mixture of many different kinds of music. For example, African, blues, European, church music, and work songs. Most early jazz musicians were African American. They played in small bands and they didn't write down their music.
Yes, they learned to work together to produce a loose and relaxed beat that is so powerful that listeners cannot help but dance, or at least move their feet along with it. And soon, white musicians were playing jazz too.
I know black and white musicians seldom played together in the United States at that time.
You are right. Around 1920, jazz music began to spread. Jazz musicians moved from city to city. People listened to jazz records. They heard jazz on the radio. In the 1930s and 1940s, jazz was popular in the U.S. and Canada. The music was called swing. It was played by big bands.
It was said there are still a few bands made up of very old musicians playing the old-style jazz in a club in New Orleans. They play jazz for 4.5 hours each evening, so many tourists go there and listen.
Can the audience make some special requests for the songs?
Yes, if the musicians are willing to play them, people pay a little money for the request. Traditional songs cost $1 and all others cost $2.
That's interesting. I'd like to visit the city sometime in the future. Exercise 10. Talking to a landlady. Mrs. Tiger's new lodger is asking what he is allowed to do. Listen to the conversation and make a cross if it is not allowed and fill in the table. Good afternoon. I'm Sam. I phoned yesterday about the room. Is it still available?
Yes, come in, please.
The room is very nice and big. Do you mind if I put some posters on the walls?
No, I don't mind, but don't use sellotape to stick them up. It brings off the paint when you remove it.
What about smoking? Is it all right if my friends and I smoke?
No, I'm afraid I don't allow smoking anywhere in the house.
I see. Can I use the kitchen if I want to cook something?
Yes, but only before 7 o'clock in the evenings, not after 7 o'clock.
I'm very fond of animals, and I'm thinking of getting a dog.
Under no circumstances do I want any pets here. I don't like animals.
Well, you said I could use your television in the evenings, is that right?
Yes, on condition that you don't have it on after midnight. We don't want to disturb the neighbors.
Can I have my friend around in the evenings?
Yes, that's okay, but we don't want any big noisy parties, though, so only 2 or 3 friends at the same time, please.
Can I have a bath at any time?
Yes, except between 6 and 7 in the evening. I get home from work then, and I always like to have a shower before I have my evening meal.
Exercise 11. The news. Listen to the news and tick the 3 items which are mentioned in the headlines. and then fill in the gaps by writing no more than 3 words in the spaces provided.
This is the 6 o'clock news for Thursday, and first the headlines are: a powerful earthquake rocked the U.S. Northwest on Wednesday. Frightened people ran into the streets of Seattle. Earthquake officials said British Columbia felt the shock but escaped any serious damage. Transport workers are on strike in Vancouver over a pay claim, and the strike looks set to spread to all of BC. In Moscow, Russian officials gave the green light on Wednesday to California millionaire Dennis Tito to become the first tourist in space.
Now here's the news in detail. A strong earthquake hit Seattle at 10:54 a.m. on Wednesday. According to the National Earthquake Information Center in Golden, the magnitude 6.8 quake was centered 125 kilometers southeast of Victoria and 56 kilometers southwest of Seattle. About 250 people were reported injured in Seattle and Olympia. At least 3 of them are in serious condition. In Victoria, the earthquake caused buildings to sway and shook pictures off walls, but damage was minimal, said Kay Smith, who was on the 8th floor of a downtown Victoria office building. I thought the building was going to sway and topple over. Yet others didn't feel a thing. A spokesman said that at least 2 local people had hospital treatment for minor injuries.
Russian officials gave the green light to California millionaire Dennis Tito to become the first tourist in space, despite reservations from NASA. Tito, 60, the founder of an investment firm, took his final exam. The Interdepartmental Committee, which routinely approves cosmonauts for spaceflight, included Tito in the primary crew set to launch on April 28th on a mission to the International Space Station. Tito will reportedly pay $20 million for the flight. He will spend about a week on the station, despite objections from NASA, who felt that an amateur on board could jeopardize safety if there were an emergency.
Exercise 12. Some interesting places to go. Listen to the talk and choose the right answer for questions 1 to 3, and then fill in the missing information in the notes for questions 4 to 12.
Here are some interesting places to visit. First, the West End. The West End is the name given to the area of central London. It includes Trafalgar Square, the main shopping areas of Oxford Street and Regent Street. Most of London's big department stores are in these streets, and the entertainment centres are in Soho, Piccadilly Circus, and Leicester Square. Trafalgar Square was built early in the last century to commemorate the Battle of Trafalgar. Admiral Lord Nelson's statue stands on top of a column in the middle of Trafalgar Square. At Christmas time, carol singers gather round a huge Christmas tree, which is sent to Britain from Norway every year. Behind Nelson's column is the National Gallery. Piccadilly Circus is the center of nightlife in the West End. It is usually at the top of everyone's list of things to see in London because it is so well known. It is actually quite small, and most people are rather disappointed when they see it for the first time because they had imagined it would be much bigger. To the north of Piccadilly Circus is Soho, which has been the foreign quarter of London since the 17th century. Now it has restaurants offering food from a variety of different countries, especially Chinese and Italian ones. London is famous for its live theaters, and there are over 30 theaters within a square mile. If you want to know what is on in London, the best place to look is in a newspaper. Exercise 13. Trip to Belfast. Listen to the talk and fill in the missing information in the notes below.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Belfast. Now I will give you some information about Belfast. Belfast is one of the youngest capital cities in the world, and it has grown incredibly fast. Today, the city has a population of 400,000, nearly a third of the entire population of Northern Ireland. But in the 17th century, it was only a village. Then, during the 19th century, the development of industries like linen, rope-making, engineering, tobacco, and the sea trade doubled the town's size every 10 years. The city is well known for shipbuilding. It was here that the Titanic was built and sent out on her fatal maiden voyage. Here is your brief tour around Belfast. This morning, you will visit an art gallery, Belfast Cathedral, and City Hall. This afternoon, you will visit the zoo, and this evening, you will go to a concert at Ulster Hall. Tomorrow morning, you will visit Ulster Museum and see 9,000 years of human history in Ireland and the gold treasure of the 16th century Spanish warship which was recovered off the coast of Antrim in 1968. In the afternoon, you will go to the Botanic Gardens and you will walk among rare plants. Some of the tropical plants are 100 years old. And then you will visit the Palm House. It was built in 1850. You will have a free evening, so you can go to some local pubs. It's possible for you to find a really friendly atmosphere and enjoy some Irish folk music there. Next morning, at 10, you will leave the hotel and fly back to London. I hope you will enjoy the 2-day tour. Thanks.
Exercise 14. TV and radio. Listen to the talk and complete the notes below. Watching television is one of the great British pastimes. Broadcasting in the United Kingdom is controlled by the British Broadcasting Corporation, known as the BBC, and the Independent Broadcasting Authority, known as IBA. The BBC receives its income from the government. The IBA earns money from private companies advertising. National radio is controlled by the BBC, and listeners can choose between 4 stations. Radio 1 is a pop music station with news and magazine-style programs. Radio 2 plays light music and reports on sport. Radio 3 plays classical music, and Radio 4 has news programs, drama, and general interest programs. There are many local stations, some private and some run by the BBC. Their programs consist mainly of music and local news. The BBC has 2 TV channels. BBC Two has more serious programs and news features. The IBA is responsible for looking after the regional independent TV companies who broadcast their own programs and those they have bought from other regions. There is a break in programs for advertisements about every 15 to 20 minutes. The most recent independent channel is Channel 4, and it has more specialized programs than the main channels. In general, people think the programs offered on British television are of a very high standard. Some people, however, are becoming worried about the amount of violence on TV and the effect this may have on young people.
Exercise 15. Sports. Listen to the talk and fill in the missing information in the right place for questions 1 to 10. And for questions 11 to 16, indicate whether the following statements are true or false by writing T for true and F for false. Sports are very important in British life. It's possible to practice all kinds of sports in Britain. You can see water sports, sailing and rowing are practiced on the lakes, rivers, and coastlines. These kinds of sports are more popular in summer. Walking, rock climbing, and horse riding are all good ways to explore the landscape. Nearer your home, you will certainly find outdoor pitches for football, cricket, and other team games. Tennis is played on outdoor courts in the summer, while squash has become a popular game in recent years, as it can be played year-round on indoor courts. Most colleges and towns will also have indoor swimming pools, and some have ice skating rinks. Many colleges have their own extremely impressive sports facilities, and this is the best place to find what is available. For example, most universities have a day at the start of the year when all the clubs and societies advertise their activities, and you can go round and choose which you would like to join. The most popular outdoor spectator sports are football and horse racing. Most large towns have their own football team and ground, while race courses are found in the country and outside most major cities. All forms of motor racing are also popular. Sport plays such a large part in British life that many idioms in the English language have come from the world of sport. For example, to play the game means to be fair, and that's not cricket means that's not fair. The most popular sport in Britain as a whole is football. A lot of people support their local clubs at matches on Saturday afternoons, or watch the matches live on television.